talk about the sensations or the five senses, how the five senses work in our nervous system. For sure, we said every sense we have works by the nervous system. We said there are two parts of our nerves, sensory nerves and motor nerves. The sensory nerves include, sensory neurons and motor neurons. Sensory neurons are the nerve cells that capture the sensation from the environment or the changes in the environment, then convert these changes into impulses or into changes in the electric energy that will move over the neuron to the central nervous system. Sometimes to the spinal cord, then to the brain, sometimes directly to the brain, like the sight, like in the nerve of the that comes from the eye, it will go to the brain directly because eyes are very close to the brain. Okay, so we have the same concept always for all the five senses, the same concept. As you hear, I summarize how all the five senses work. There are receptors. What do we mean by receptors? Cells, it means specific cells that receives the change in the environment. Again, specific cells that receive the changes in the environment. They are called receptors. Like receivers. They receive the change in the environment or the sensation, you can say. Now, these sensory receptors, they will change the sensation into impulses. There is mechanism. Inshallah, if you continue studying in biology, then in medicine, you will study how for sure, if you continue studying in medicine, you will learn that how the sensation will be converted into into impulses. I think in the physiology this will be studied. Then the impulses will move through the neurons, through the nerve. As you see here, the impulse will move through the sensory neuron in the nerve, then to the central nervous system, finally to the brain, which will interpret the sensation. If it was a picture that you have seen, a sound that you heard, something you touched, pain you feel, something you taste, something you smell. So it depends on the sense. Okay, finally, your brain will interpret that. We will see how that will happen in every one of the five senses. For today, we will study, inshallah, only the sight and the touching, because I see that you are at home and this study that takes place online without direct contact. I don't want to make it harder for you, so I decided to divide the 2 pages over 2 days. We will take today only the sight and the touching, then on Sunday, inshallah, we will continue and we will finish the nervous system. Okay? The sight that allows you to see objects and motion and light, everything that you can sense it with your eyes is the sight. Let's see what are the parts of the eye. let's have a look at the eye and at the parts that make up the eye. Then we will talk about how we can see objects by our eye. First of all, here is the cornea. The cornea is the front part of the eye. Then the front clear part of the eye that covers the eye is the cornea. Then behind the cornea is the lens, as you see. This lens is a curved, transparent. It's curved and transparent that allows the light to enter to the eye, to the internal part of the eye. And because it is curved, it will also bend the light. It will bend the light. This is not our issue. We'll not talk about how the light will bend. This you will take it in the next year, inshallah. The opening from which the light can enter is called the pupil. The part of the eye that has the colors is called the iris. Here it is not very clear. The iris is the part, the muscular part that has the colors, and it can make the opening bigger or smaller. You remember, because it is muscular, when the light is less, the iris will contract to make the pupil bigger to allow more light to enter to the eye, and the opposite is true. Finally, the part at the back of the eye is called the retina, and this what we'll talk about today, because the retina has the photoreceptors. The receptors, or the cells, the nerve cells that will receive the light and convert it into impulses. Okay, there are a lot of cells here. I will show you the shape of these cells here on the retina. They are called rods and cones. Rods and cones. Rods and cones are very also famous in Arabic. I want you to search, as usual, when I ask you such questions, search what is the name of these cells. What are they called in Arabic? Okay, what is the name of retina in Arabic? What is the name of rods and cones in Arabic? Okay, this is something extra. If you want to do it, send me what you find. Okay, now the retina has a lot of cones and rods. Rods are responsible for the dim light without colors, while cones are responsible for the colors and for the highlights. Okay, together they help us to see the image with dim light or with highlight and with the colors. Okay, they will receive the light. For sure the image will be on the retina as light. These photoreceptors will receive the light and convert it into impulse. Then the impulse will move in this nerve that is called the optic nerve. That's it. Let's see that on the video. It will be easier for us.
Vision is the dominant sense for most people with sight. The organ of sight is the eye. Think of it as a slightly irregular, hollow sphere that takes in light and translates it into images. If we enlarge the eye and look inside it, we can discover how that's done. Inside the eye are various structures working together to create an image the brain can understand. Among these are the cornea, a clear dome-like structure covering the iris or colored part of the eye, the lens directly below it, and the retina, which lines the back of the eye. The retina consists of thin layers of light-sensitive tissue. This candle can help us understand how the eye captures.
The light-sensitive tissue is made up of the rods and the cones. In this video, they didn't mention it. It's okay. We will see that in another video. Let's see here. As you see,
the retina is actually the part of the optic nerve which transmits the light impulses to our brain. The retina is the most important and complex structure in the eyeball. It consists of a complicated arrangement of rods and cones which convert light waves into nerve impulses.
They change the light into wave impulses.
Between the lens and the cornea is the aqueous humor.
Enough. Let's go back to this.
Images and then sends them to the brain. First, the candlelight passes through the cornea. As it does, it's bent or refracted onto the lens. As the light passes through the lens, it's bent a second time. Finally, it arrives at the retina, where an image is formed. This double bending, though, has reversed the image and turned it upside.
The image will be reversed. This you will study it inshallah the next year, and you will see how the problems that can take place in the eye, and you will study about lenses inshallah. Okay.
Upside down.
So the image on the retina will come reversed upside down. Then the rods and the cones will convert this image into impulse. The impulse will move through the optic nerve. Optic, this word is very important. It means anything that is related to the sight. That's why sometimes if we want to buy glasses for our eyes, these places or these stores are called, you will read optical or optics. It means related to the eyes, like cardiac related to the heart, optics related to the sight. Okay, so the optic nerve will move this impulse, the sensory neurons inside it will move the impulse to the brain. The brain will interpret. طبعا in the brain, the reversed image will be fixed directly, so we don't see the world as upside down.
If that was the end of the story, the world would always appear upside down. Fortunately, the image is turned right side up in the brain. Before that can happen, the image needs to travel as impulses along the optic nerve and enter the brain's occipital lobe. When the image forms.
So, as I told you, in our cerebrum, there are centers for every sensation. Every sensation has a specific center. The center for interpreting the images of that we receive through the optic nerve are here. This is the center. Here, all the images will be fixed first and will be interpreted. What is this image? It's a candle image.
There, it regains its proper perspective. Now let's consider two common conditions that.
That's it. This video it's enough for this video. Let's go back to. Touching, it takes place by the skin that is a part of the integumentary system. The skin has many types of receptors, of sensory receptors. We have receptors that detect the pressure. يعني if something press on your skin, or if you feel pressure on your skin, the temperature, that's how we can feel if something hot or warm or cold. Pain also, if something cause pain to your in your skin. All the receptors of pain also, they exist inside our body, but let's talk about these. Also the vibration, if something vibrate, we can feel vibration by our skin. So pressure, temperature, pain, and vibration. Let's see an example about the pain, how we can feel the pain. Wait.
Might seem, pain is actually a very important defense mechanism. It warns the body about potential or actual injuries or diseases, so that protective actions can be taken. Basically, noxious signals send impulses to the spinal cord, which relays the information to the brain. The brain interprets the information as pain, localizes it, and sends back instructions for the body to react. Pain sensation is mediated by pain receptors, or nociceptors, which are present in the skin, superficial tissues, and virtually all.
So as we have seen in the video, when we touch something, in this picture, in this small video that we have seen, two receptors can work. The receptors of the temperature and the receptors of the pain. And if it was very, very painful or something that can burn, this sensation can reach only the spinal cord, and the spinal cord will send the order to the hand to be removed directly, as I mentioned in the last part of the lesson. So it can take place directly without going to the brain. Then the brain will be informed, and the brain will interpret to us what happened. But normally, if the pain is not that much, what will happen? Or if it was only lower temperature than burning, what will happen? As what we have seen, since the sensory receptor will take the temperature and will take the pain, the receptors, and will convert the pain and the temperature into impulses, specific impulses for pain, specific impulses for temperature, will move through specific sensory neurons. The sensory neuron will take the impulse as what we have seen through the axon. I hope that you memorize this part very well, from the dendrite to the cell body, to the axon terminal, to another cell, until it reaches the spinal cord. The spinal cord will keep moving it in the same way to the brain. In the brain also, in the specific center for the temperature and the specific center for the pain, we can realize what happened. We can realize that this is hot and it is painful. We have to remove our hand. How we will remove our hand? The brain will send the order to our hand by motor neurons. That's it. This is everything for today. We are done from the sight and from the touch. I hope you will study them very well. I want you to, I know you don't like drawing, up to you. Up to you. I prefer that you summarize for the sight and you draw the eye. As you know my way, I prefer drawing. Whenever we have something to draw, it's better to draw. Thank you for listening. See you next Sunday, inshallah.